I had to make this video because every time you have something of merit to say, some little piece of shit has to come along and try to undermine it with something completely irrelevant and unrelated. I'm not talking about a subject matter or even a direct ad hom. It's not an insult per se or an accusation. It's this idea that somehow you have to live up to some ridiculous standard before anything has even happened. You know, already they're laying down ground rules and you have to compromise before anything's even begun. And what I mean by that is how when I say something, every so often, some little turd comes along with, what you say would have more merit if you didn't use foul language. How? Do you want me to be a smartass and use huge words that are like 4 syllables long in the dictionary? How do you expect me to express that you are getting fucked every single day? Your life is about 3 things: work, sleep, die. That's it. There is no other way to say that does not involve foul language, obscenities, crude rhetoric. There is no other method, because that's what it is. Our life is horrible. Our life is fuck. Our life is dick. Our life is shit. That is what it is. And to say otherwise is to demean ourselves. It is to degrade ourselves, to act like this is okay. It's just sort of bad. It's kind of bad. No, it's really bad. And this notion that I have to use a certain type of language, fuck you, fuck your mother, fuck your daddy, fuck your daughter, fuck your dog, I hope you all burn in hell. Do you understand that I don't care if you're the type of person that is really persuaded by certain words, then don't listen to me. I don't care about you. I will hang you by a fucking tree along with the rest of the bourgeoisie. You have no place in my world. And I just need to get that out there. You know, a couple of us house niggers will be hanged. I'm not going to deny that. You know, we'll be hanged metaphorically or sometimes quite literally. But when a revolution comes, all of the house niggers will be hanged. And I mean both metaphorically and physically. Because in a revolution, there is no taking time out for the scumbags. They are not the type where we need to persuade them. We don't need to, verbalize our outrage and try to get them on our side. This isn't a fucking club. This isn't some little YMCA for you to attend. This is the reality. This is the reality that we face every single day, and I only say it that way other people, other like-minded people, can understand that they're not alone. I'm not saying we need to go out there guns blazing. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is that I have to be this way. I have to talk this way. That way other people see the severity of it. This isn't something to take lightly. This is your life. You should be mad that your life has gone nowhere. That your life is just one bullshit after another. Whether or not you're successful, whether or not you make lots of money, your life, what are you doing with it? Do you have any real control over it? From the moment you were born, there are all these barriers in between you and your own spiritual evolution. And I'm not just talking about, okay, you didn't have the best education, you didn't have the best job, you didn't go to the best school, you didn't know the right people, your friends suck, your parents are boozers, or whatever. It doesn't matter. My point is that you never really have any control over your life. Every single day, you are totally dependent on other people. Like, when you go to work, you depend on your employer not to fire you, and there's nothing to stop him. There is nothing to stop your employer because we live in a free market society, and he could screw you over tomorrow. There is nothing to stop, the police from ignoring your calls if someone robs and kills your family. They could be having a bad day and whatever, you're just wasting our time. And they've done it before. There's nothing to stop your neighbor from fucking killing your dog. And sometimes they do, because everyone has that psycho neighbor. There are so many variables to your life, and you make no attempt whatsoever to try to filter that, to try to minimize that wickedness and that destruction and that chaos. And you're going to tell me that just because I use some naughty words, that somehow all of that is diminished. Reality is diminished because I use the F word. I use the N word. Really? Are you that petty? It's stupid, and I'm not going to put up with it. I'm not going to put up with, the truth, the plight of my life, the plight of everybody's life, demeaned because someone doesn't want to use naughty language. Well, that's your problem, because you're an emasculated fool that needs to have face, that needs to have, the people's good graces. So you speak politely and softly, and nothing's wrong in the world. Chocolate Rain, Have you heard the song Chocolate Rain? It fits life very well. How, some get, I don't even know lyrics, but essentially, we try to pretend that life is so good and life is so wonderful and, everybody's getting along, and that's not the way it is at all. And, it aggravates the shit out of me when, I'm trying to make that point, and then just someone comes with, you shouldn't use foul language. Do you even know where curse words come from? I mean, has it ever crossed your pea little brain where this notion came from that we couldn't use certain words in our own language? Why do we have those words if we can't use them? Or why would you make words that you can only use sometimes? What kind of neurotic piece of shit species are you where you have a word in your vocabulary that can only be used once in a while, even though there's no strict way to determine when, only that it should arbitrarily not be used unless absolutely necessary? That is ridiculous. That is the most retarded thing I have ever heard. Why would you... I don't understand what the hell's wrong with you people. Not all of you, not a lot of my viewers. A lot of my viewers are good, sensible, smart people. But the kind of person that gets so butthurt about a curse word. What is a curse word? I mean, really, what is the F word, the N word? Ugh. They are words. They have a meaning. They have a definition. If they offend you, oh well. I get offended every day. My life is one big offense. And, are you going to see me getting all irate over a word? No. Because it's not about the word. It's about the principle. If someone gets offended by my use of the word nigger, let's just say that. Are they offended by the word, or are they offended by the principle? I bet they're offended by the principle. The principle that this pasty white guy has the audacity to say the word nigger when, there's all this history behind that word. And, I can understand why black people would be offended by that. But then they would know it's not about the word, it's about the principle. It's about the principle that this little asshole right here doesn't have the feelings, the courtesy to not use that word. And see, the fact that I know that means I've put forethought into this. So clearly there is a reason why I'm using it, and it's far deeper than not using it. So don't tell me about what words to use or not to use, because I have thought about this long and hard. That is all I ever think about. So go fuck yourself. I think that is the perfect thing to say. Go fuck yourself if it bothers you so much that I use such words. Because as far as I'm concerned, the entire anti-curse word thing started a long time ago by rich white aristocrats who wanted to look down upon the common man because he could not afford the wonderful education and his vocabulary just wasn't as good. So they used to use that to demean them, to act like they weren't capable of, critical thinking just because they didn't know big pretty words, and then they would use that to deny them voting rights and things like that. And as time went on and everybody's vocabulary started to increase because people wrote more books and we had a public education system, etc., that started to diminish, but the principle behind it didn't. People still want to think they're better than other people. And since we don't have that class divide, at least in that regard, well, we do, but it's different now. Now they just think that they can look down on you just cause. Because who the fuck is this guy? Is he richer than me? Is he of higher stature? Does he have all kinds of bitches and a Corvette and things like that? No. He just thinks he's better than me because he doesn't use the naughty words. Golf clap. You don't use naughty words. Maybe that'll make your boss give you a 2-cent raise. It's fucking ridiculous. You're wasting your time because thinking you're better than me and that you're smarter than me just because you use certain words over other words. If you were so fucking smart, you would see how bad the situation is. If you were so smart, you would have some kind of idea to make the world a better place instead of worrying about what the fuck I'm doing. I'm going to tell you straight up, I'm not the smartest guy in the world. If I was smart, I would have ended this shit a long time ago. We wouldn't have these problems if I was a super genius. If I was a super genius, Steve be dead, Moot be dead, fucking Richard the Rapist Bueller be dead, and I would kill them with some kind of fucking death laser and rule the world, and none of these problems would exist. But I'm not a super genius. I'm just smart enough to see that the world's got problems. And the problem's probably bigger than I can handle, or even an entire multitude of people can handle. But that I know that if we work together, we can solve the little things. The little things like video game industry corruption, the little things like internet censorship, the little things like, just, I don't know, getting screwed over on eBay, or stuff like that. That's what I worry about. I worry about realistic things. And I'm not going to care how you speak. I'm not going to care if your English is a little garbled. I'm not going to care if you misspell a word. I'm not going to care if you tend to use a lot of vulgar language. Because it doesn't matter. It's not going to affect my life, neither positively or negatively. If I think something you're doing is going to affect somebody somewhere's life negatively, I will tell you and I will get on your ass about it. If I think that it's going to affect me negatively, I will definitely get on your ass about it. But if it's not going to affect anybody negatively, why would I concern myself with it? And if I think it will affect somebody positively, hell, I will encourage it. But so what you're saying is, if you think that somehow it makes my arguments look bad because of the way I talk, you are suggesting that A, somehow you care about my arguments. Do you agree with me? Are you just thinking that I am undermining the movement because of my vernacular? Or B, are you so concerned about me, personally, that you don't want other people to look down on me? Or C, are you just being a self-righteous dickhead? Are you just being a pretentious cunt that, wants to think that just because you don't use curse words on a normal basis, that somehow you're morally and intellectually superior? And that's something that we really need to get concerned about, because this happens a lot, where, these people that contribute nothing, that have nothing of merit to say, want to tell you how to conduct yourself, how to verbalize your outrage or your emotions or something of that sort. There is a reason people curse. Scientifically, it has been proven that people tend to curse when they are upset, or when they're depressed, or when, they're afraid, or something else. Cursing is a natural response. And yet somehow we are condemned to do it. It's quite poetic, because we are condemned from showing emotions. We're not really allowed to show any emotions. We pretend that we are, but We're not allowed to be upset. We're not allowed to be sad, angry. These kind of emotions make us unstable. We're not even really allowed to be positively emotional. We're not really allowed to be happy. Have you ever seen an actual happy person? People are filled with contempt over them. If you see two people in love, you're just like, oh, look at those two all over each other. They disgust me. Or if you just see a naturally happy person that's optimistic about life, you tend to look down on that person. What the fuck do they have to be so happy about? Ugh. You know, we're always judging people over stupid shit, over nothing at all. We don't even have anything to judge them over, and we're doing it anyway. Because we live in that kind of society where it's all about who can be better than who. As long as you're better than somebody else, suddenly you're a winner. Winner of what? What do you have to show for it? Nothing. That's all you ever do, is you work, and you struggle, and you step on other people and you try to be better than them for fucking nothing. That is the most evil, most destructive, most terrible existence that I or probably any other rational human being could imagine. And you're going to talk to me about my vulgar language. There's nothing else to say for that. I have pretty much covered it all. So, I guess that's the end of this video. It's probably been one of my longer videos. It needs to be said because it's going to come up again. Some other stupid fuckhead is going to come along and talk about my vulgarity and not think anything of the consequences of the world he lives in, just that I'm speaking vulgarly. Never mind the fact of what we have to deal with, never mind the fact of the subject matter, just the fact that I used a curse word. So, I don't waste my time with such people. Fuck them. Fuck them to hell. Fucking put a gun to their head and blow their brains out. They don't matter. I do this for people like you, my viewers, who actually understand that, life is hard. Life is bullshit. Life is just full of drama and struggle and turmoil over little shit. Over little shit that you really shouldn't have to fight for. And it's beyond insanity. There's no reason for it at all. We don't have to live that way. There is no reason why our living essentials could not be provided for us free of charge, no strings attached. There's no reason why people cannot be relatively nice to each other and respect each other without having to adore one another. There's no reason why we should not be able to say what we want when we want to and actually mean it and, express ourselves and not be stifled or censored or told we can't say that, regardless of whether or not it's public or private property. So that applies to forums. There's no reason for any of that. We should be able to have that. As a human being capable of reason, it would stand to reason that those kind of priorities would, speak out. It would stand to reason that, we would think about those things instead of thinking about fucking football and what we saw on Big Bang Theory and all these other distractions. We should think about how to make life better. And if I say that with a couple of F words and N-bombs thrown in, hey, why not? I feel like shit today. So, you think about that. And you think about who's really demeaning a movement or principality when, I'm just trying to get that message out there, and that I welcome anybody that wants to subscribe to me or be on my friends list and authentically wants to get to know me and, help out. We can work together on something. If you're just coming to my page to troll me, screw you, I'll just block you. But if you authentically like what I say or just respect what I say and you too want to contribute something positive, hey, let's work together. Let's get something done. But to people like that, I don't give a shit about them. They're garbage. And, let them get upset about me using the word shit, because that's what they are. I'm speaking it, they're living it. So, that's all I have to say.